Merry Christmas, everyone. It's John again. I'm going to play a hopefully pretty quick game of Immaculate Grid because I don't want to keep you too long from your families here on this Christmas day. Been a fun year. I guess it's not really year in review time because we'll have the 26th of the first, but I've had fun doing this and hopefully I can give just a few minutes of random baseball tidbits for those who enjoy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen. Just roll right into it. We're on grid number 267 here on this Christmas day. I'm way better dressed than I normally am because I just got back from mass. Actually, I got back a couple hours ago. I've just been slacking on taking off my nice clothes. So we're gonna just get rid of that and hit go and hit play. All right, Ryan Howard works first baseman. And let's just get Canerco and Bagwell. Biggio certainly hit 300. So did Frank Thomas. So did Chase Utley. Really being basic here. All right, 30 home runs, Mike Schmidt. And let's go Jermaine Dye. That might actually be a sneaky low one. And then let's go Lance Berkman. Bam, under 45 seconds. Not much in the way of Rarity here. Was going with some pretty obvious ones. This time I managed to stay away from any of my, relievers who were going to be sub one. I'll use those on the next round here. I did not actually realize I was not going to say with any confidence that Jimmy Rollins had ever hit 300 in a season. I thought he was just a little bit under 300 actually the year he won MVP, but maybe I'm off on that. Maybe he did hit 300. Just find out right now. It's stopping us. 290. Yeah, I was right. He hit 296. In fact, Rollins only works. I wonder how many people. This is interesting. This is a fun little segue. I wonder how many people picked Jimmy Rollins thinking he must have hit 300 the year he won MVP. I was right. He only hit 296 that year, but hit 321 going 17 for 53 in 2000 in his pre-rookie year. So I think a lot of people assumed he hit 300 that MVP season and lucked out due to that cup of coffee because that was the only other 300 season he had. On that, I hit a lot. I hit all the obvious people for first base. Altuve took more than Biggio. No surprises there. Tim Anderson. Okay, fair enough. He had like an over 400 batting average on balls in play in 2019. Fun fact. And then they went with Thomas here for 30 home runs. I went with Jermaine Dye. He was around 5%. So I didn't really blow it on anybody with too low a rarity score. And hey, it's my wife. That's all good. All right. I am going to share again. You also got a brief glimpse of my little boy there. Sharing this one. And let's go ahead and do that. And let's see how rare we can get. 300 in a season batting. So I think the guy we're going to go with here is Earl Allen. That I think is the right guy. Look at that. That's not even a photograph. That's a black and white stenograph type deal. And then here, I believe there's a man named Eddie. I don't have a great I think it's this guy. You know, it could be one of these guys. I need to look up actually which one it actually is. I'm gonna go with Carl Reynolds. See, that's still pretty low, so I'm pretty happy with that. Um, I knew it was an A because I'd looked because eddy currents that's a thing in electrical engineering and also for like non-destructive testing. Just something to know. So um I was just like my pneumatic or sorry, not pneumatic. My mnemonic device was um Chicago's a big city with a lot of lights that requires a lot of current, eddy current. That's how I made that connection. So that's how I store that guy's name. But there's so many options. And then over here, the Houston Astros, I believe, what was the guy's name? I had a guy for this. Was it, I want to say it was a guy named Sosa. This guy, Jose Sosa. I think this is our man. There we go. I don't even know how I remember that. Sammy Sosa played in the same division, I guess. All right, so 30 home runs, we'll go there next. Um, Rico Brogna was the Phillies' first baseman when the Brewers moved to the National League. So I mean, I'm sure he's oh, that's right, that's over there. I did kind of backwards there. I meant to say 30 home runs, and some people with 30 home runs. We just saw Rollins will work, Howard, Worth, Utley, Abreu will work as well. Scott Rowland will work. We did Mike Schmidt, he'll work. Greg Luzinski will definitely work. From the 70s there, and he's probably the lowest I've thought of so far. Schwarber is going to take a lot. Harper is going to take a lot. Um, but let's see if we're thinking of there had to have been Chuck Klein will definitely work. Um, I'm trying to think of other people who played at the Baker Bowl because it was notorious for being a bandbox, but I'm not thinking of anyone else who got to 30. So I'm gonna go Chuck Klein. Takes 2%. It's still all right. Let's see. And then we've got for 30 plus home runs, Carlton Fisk, but he played there a while. Dick Allen got to 30, but he was rookie, or excuse me, MVP that year. I don't think Harold Baines gets there. Um, I think Tartabull might have gotten there actually. 1996 time frame. Ventura definitely gets there. Frank Thomas, Bell, Joe Creed got exactly 30 home runs. I think it was exactly 30 home runs in 2006. That might be a good candidate. Carlos Lee, Maglia Ordonez definitely work. And then Jose Abreu works. I don't know if Al Simmons works. Yeah. Yeah, I've rolled through a number of names. I think I'm going to go with Creed. Joe Creed. Go sub one. All right. And then for the Astros, I think our options are going to be somewhat limited. Astrodome was in the 60s considered a major pitcher's environment. I don't know that anybody hits 30. Maybe Jim Wynn. Maybe Jim Wynn. Lee May might have as well after being traded for Joe Morgan. That's in the 70s now. Um, I'm not sure about Glenn Davis. Then you get the Killer Bees, Bagwell, Biggio, and Berkman. Moises Alou definitely got there. I think George Springer, Jordan Alvarez, they'll both work. Gurriel, maybe? I'm not actually sure about Gurriel. Bregman definitely works. Altuve works. How about they would have played each other in the '05 World Series. How about Mr. Morgan Ensberg? 36 home runs in 2005. Was top 10 in the MVP voting, I think. All right, so 2, 2, and 1. Basically, these were all zeroed, more or less. And then where do we go from here? So Abreu is going to be big. Thomas is going to be big. Konerko is going to be big. How about Gold Glove winner Mike Squires? He goes 1%. Used him before. Maybe I go with Bronya. I mentioned him earlier. I'm not exactly sure where. Dick Allen actually would have been a good choice here too, because he had over 40 in his rookie season. I think 64, give or take. Um, I'm not sure if he was bounced over to first base at some point. Um, and then, well, Jimmy Fox. I think Jimmy Fox will work. I don't think he exclusively pinch hit when he went to Philadelphia. Maybe he did. He only played there a year. I'll go with him. Point 0.3. Nice. All right. So Bagwell, Glenn Davis was the guy for most of the 80s. Well, Lee May will work in the 70s. He was flipped for Joe Morgan. Glenn Davis is your guy for most, and of course, there's bound to be people who play a game or two at first base, and that's how you get several hundred options. But I'm thinking basically Davis more or less leads to Bagwell. Bagwell more or less leads to Berkman moving over from the outfield to first base. Um, and then, I mean, a little while later, you get Gurriel, and now Abreu's over there. But I'm trying to think who the first baseman for Houston would have been around 2010 time. I think Carlos Lee might have been moved over there from the outfield. Um, I think Lee May is going to be the best choice. Let's go with him. I think that's our guy. And we get a rarity score of 8 after all that. So pretty good score. Really happy with the timed version, and you got to meet my wife and son. So anyway, thank you so much for playing. I'm gonna stop sharing here, and hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. Thanks so much for playing. If you like this kind of banter, even after Christmas, my book will make a decent stocking stuffer, and the link is in the description below on this video. Thanks a lot for playing. Peace.